All right, guys, my buddy Joe Gilfeder over at Fordham was asking me, do you have Herschel Walker's book? I don't know if he has multiple books, but I've got a large collection of books. I'm a big believer in not just, and guys, you could see there's space here. I've given away, I donated to Goodwill, man, probably 100 books. But I have a lot of old strength and conditioning books. Many of them, you can see these magazines are piled high in here. You can see the old ones. There's more down there. There's plenty everywhere. And you got to be willing to learn beyond just the kind of current day stuff. Like this book here, I believe every strength and conditioning coach should read. But truth is, a lot of the strength coaches don't read that stuff. They don't know who Charlie Francis is. They didn't read this book by Mark Twight about his mountain climbing expeditions. This book is crazy awesome. The Power of Optimism. This book was written by legends, and there's like barely any purchases or reviews of this book. Why? Marketing. Okay? Dr. Todd, Terry Todd. A lot of amazing books here that a lot of people don't know about. This one here is from before I was born, okay? With sandbag training, strength and conditioning, body opus. Woo! Not many people know about that unless you grew up in the bodybuilding era of the early 90s. Bill Sino, you hear Louis Simmons talking about him all the time. Let's check this one out. This one was really one of my favorites. I'll get back to that book. This book was gifted to Jimmy Wendler by Dr. Ken. It is a collection of the original Westside Barbell articles written by Bill Peanuts West, where they were interviewed. So George Friend was interviewed, and what do you know? What kind of plates are those? Zuvers. How many strength coaches don't even know what Zuvers gym is, or Zuvers Hall of Fame, those plates? By the way, a pair of 50-pound plates was sold on eBay last year for $14,000. I would probably assume that guy is not married. When you're a single guy, those are the things you do, and you're making a crap ton of money. But let's look at when this book was printed, what year this was printed. Okay, mid-'80s. And remember, back then, muscle-bound things were being said. If you lift weights and stop training, your muscle will turn to fat. Talks about the President's Council on Physical Fitness, which I think was awesome. Today, you can't do that because kids would die running a mile. I'm not kidding. Many kids would have a heart attack. That's the truth. They would call their parents. The schools would get sued. Started doing push-ups in junior high school. Coach Jordan suggested them to me. He didn't expect me to be as serious about them. I worked hard at them. They were making me stronger. I did them more. He told me once I ought to try something every day. When I couldn't run, so I'd still get some exercise. Bum, 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 bum. I could hardly do one push-up. Then I got to the point where I could do 25 without stopping. See that? You know when you'll get great at push-ups? When you're pissed off at being weak. Feet elevated push-ups. Look at these old benches. They had the very narrow stand, so if you were lifting alone, you had to push the barbell over when you were done loading one side so it wouldn't flip over. Here you go. Get your girlfriend to sit on your back while doing push-ups. Toxic masculinity right there. Famous photo of Herschel going on the monkey bars. I often in the early 2000s took the athletes to the playgrounds, and we would do all kinds of training on the playground equipment, from pull-ups to the hand walking and just training like animals. Look at this, cross training, playing multiple sports. Who would have known? Jumping over and on little boxes. Sideways jumps, just excellent stuff to get people back to basics. Herschel, as some of you might know, he fought in MMA. I believe he was already 50 years old, but he had a martial arts background, and look at this. Amazing flexibility. Okay, he was also a two-sport athlete when he was at Georgia. He was track and field and football, which I would love to see. These are the old bikes. I believe they were Tunturi bikes. My phone is not good enough to catch it. Bench pressing, and who do you know there? Who do you see? Dr. Terry Todd. Okay, swimming, excellent. Senior year in high school, I injured my knee. I went to the YMCA every other day to lift and swim for 2 weeks because I couldn't get on the mat. My knee was swollen the size of a softball. I came back in the best shape ever. As soon as I started running again, I lost my conditioning because I was doing distance running in season. Didn't know what I should or shouldn't be doing. Okay, squat stretch. Look at this flexibility. Impressive. I'm sure my buddy Joe is going to be on eBay hunting down this book. Check this out. All kinds of different kicks. And I'm going to tell you something. Remember I went to a seminar years ago, many years ago, 2003, that Steve Cotter put on, and it was one of the best seminars I ever attended. Straight punch, groin strike, squat thrust, sideways hop. Look at the high repetitions. Excellent. Excellent. Love it. I was telling you about this seminar I attended that Steve Cotter put on. Back then, the RKC instructors were doing their own seminars, and our warm-up for the seminar, actually it wasn't, it was maybe near the end, there were jiu-jitsu mats in this gym, and we were doing a lot of stuff I do with the wrestlers for the warm-up. So we were doing cartwheels, dive rolls. Steve had us doing all kinds of kicks because Steve, I'm not sure what the style of Kung Fu he was in, but I believe he was a national champion. He was, if anybody saw Steve move in those early 2000s, not even just now, but what a tremendous athlete. His explosiveness and athleticism and mobility were mind-blowing. That was one of the best seminars I ever went to, learning all the different carries, loaded sit-ups, the Kung Fu and martial arts implementation. And, I look back and, man, I wish that I had a mentor or coach in my early years who said, Zach, don't train like a bodybuilder. I had that opportunity to train with Andre the Giant. Those of you who know and read my book, it's not the WWE Andre the Giant. It was the real Andre the Giant. Training with him in Olympic weightlifting, go to a judo club, and cross-train and learn all these different styles of training that not only develop the body, but the mind. So anyway, I digress. That book is great. There are many great books. And some books, like I came across them here while looking, I'm shocked that strength coaches have not read these books. Here is one that every strength coach must read. Super Squats. Okay, if you're a Division I strength coach and you haven't squatted 400 pounds, there's going to be guys on the football team benching 400 pounds. You need to get strong and learn what it's like to get under that bar. For my buddy Ryan Mickler, I wanted to tell you about this book, in Iron Will. This is highly recommended for your book of the month for your Iron Council. Let's see, squeeze this back in here. There's another book here that was right in front of me. There's so many books here. I mean, Ripped by Clarence Bass. There's so much training books I have here that I feel like, this younger generation of coaches, even current generation of coaches, you need to be digging into it. This is one of the best keys to progress. In fact, keys to progress in super squats, I would recommend teenagers read those books, especially the teenagers that are struggling to gain size. But I don't know if teenagers read today. They go on Instagram and follow the guy that's, all ripped up on all, chemical warfare. That's not who you learn from. Luckily for me, I learned from the best when I got to the wrong age. And now I could share those mistakes to help others avoid those mistakes. That's it, guys. Old school is the best school, baby, and you know it.